Welcome back to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Tuesday, December 10th. If you were just tuning in, we just went over the NFL Power Rankings 32-1. In this segment, we finish off our show talking a little bit more about the college football playoffs. An interesting system, obviously one that has flaws in this inaugural year, this test year, if you will, for the college football playoff system. We'll talk about how to fix it, how I would fix it, and what's next for the future of college football in just a second. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Tuesday, December 10th. But like I was saying, in this segment, we're going to finish off our show talking a little more college football. Obviously, the college football playoff bracket isn't perfect. This is a 12-team college football bracket, and when you have 12 teams, when you have 64, when you have 68, as we see in the NCAA college basketball tournament, someone's always going to be mad. My team should have gotten in. There's no way to make everybody happy. So we're just going to go with, hey, 12 teams is the ideal number. Okay, we're going to play in that hypothetical, so we're not going to expand this to 14, to 20, to 25, whatever you want to expand it to. We're just going to play with that 12 is the perfect number. Now, how do we fix a hypothetical 12-team college football playoff bracket? Now, as it stands right now, the first 4 seeds get a bye. That's how the bracket works. The first 4 seeds go to the conference winners. The top 4 conference winners. The top 5 conference winners get in, which gives you that chance for a group of 5 team to get into the college football playoff, which I really like. We're going to keep that the same. We're going to keep 5 conference champions in. Gives that group of 5 representative. It makes the group of 5 season matter. It makes people pay attention to the group of 5 teams, the top group of 5 teams, which I think is really important, especially in this era of NIL, where you have teams like you saw Michigan just flip a recruit because they had money. The group of 5 team is not going to be able to do that, so you need them to get some media attention. And when they get the media attention, they play big games, their brand grows a little bit, and maybe they have a chance to stay alive in an ever more competitive college football environment. So I think it's cool that you have now 5 conference champions. The main thing I would fix with this bracket, and the main thing I think that most people want to fix or have an issue with, is the fact that now that you give an automatic bye to those 4 conference champions, right? And I think that's a fair argument, right? I want the conference championship game to mean something, and the committee wants the conference championship game to mean something. They showed that by keeping SMU in and kicking Alabama out. A decision that, by the way, I don't think should be controversial at all. Alabama did not deserve to get into the college football playoffs. Regardless of that, they showed that they want the conference championship games to mean something. And I'm full-heartedly, 110% on board with that sentiment, which is why I still think we should give those auto bids to the top 5 conferences and do 7 at-larges. I think it's completely fair. But I think they should still have the top 4 teams in the country, not the top 4 conference champions, be the ones that get the bye. If you played good enough to be the 4th best team in the country, you should not have to play an extra game. Boise State, for as good as they are, Arizona State, for as good as they are, and I love what Arizona State has been doing, arguably the hottest team in all of college football right now, gets the 4 seed, gets a bye over a team like Penn State, who's ranked in the top 4, who lost that conference championship game. And yes, I'm well aware Arizona State wins that game. That's fine. You want to move them up? They're still not in the top 4 of the country. Put the top 4 teams with the bye. But if you're not willing to bend on that, if you're not willing to say conference championships would mean nothing if we did that, fine. I'll relent a little bit. I have yet another solution for you. I'm a man of many ideas. And it's very simple. Honestly, I think this should have been the way that they do it anyway this season. Reseed the playoffs after every single round. give a true advantage to the number 1 seed in the country. As it stands right now, Oregon arguably has the toughest path in the nation, while Penn State, the 6th seed, SMU, the 11th seed, arguably has the easiest. Now, I'm not going to say that any team in the playoff is a cakewalk. I think all 12 of those teams deserve to be in the playoffs. I think they got the right 12 in. But if you're not reseeding, if you're forcing Oregon to play either Ohio State again or Tennessee, that is not fair to them. Why don't you have them play potentially a Clemson if the Clemson wins, or SMU if SMU wins? You need to reseed. I think that's something that every single sport should do. Really? I really do think that. I don't think there's a reason not to reseed anyway, because you want to give your number 1 team an advantage because you want the regular season to matter. And I think that's the best way to do it. There are 2 ways to fix this. And I think really you take those 2 together and you make the perfect 12-team bracket. You do the same thing. 5 conference championships automatically get in. Now, where you put them doesn't matter to me. If all 5 of the top conference champions somehow end up being outside the top 25, put them 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, right? Do that. Top 7 now have just the top 7 in the country. Give the top 4 teams a bye. And for God's sake, reseed the playoffs. At a minimum, reseed the playoffs. Now you can come up with these solutions. Oh, a 14 team would be perfect. Oh, a 20 team would be perfect. You're never going to make everybody happy. It's just not going to happen. Get rid of the group of 5. No, don't get rid of the group of 5. The group of 5 needs to be in there. You're never going to make anybody happy. You're never going to make everybody happy. But I think that's the best of a bad situation. Now, I'm sure they're going to expand after 2 years. I'm actually almost 100% sure about that because they're going to make more money. They're going to say, ooh, people like watching the playoffs. Let's make it 14 teams. Let's make it 16 teams. Let's make it 25 teams. Shoot, let's make it 100 teams. I doubt they ever get that high, but they're going to expand this. No doubt about it. I just think they need to learn from this experience. They need to give auto bids to conference championships. They need to reseed, but they need to respect the top teams in the nation more than anything, and they need to give them those buys. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to today's episode of Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I have been your host, Jeremy Lapidus. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things sports. We'll talk everything that's going on in basketball with our NBA power rankings and more. I'll see you then. You'll have a good one. Bye-bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn.